This past week, GOVSTATE University held a very important land acknowledgement ceremony at the bell tower. This was to acknowledge the land that the school sits on that was originally the ancestral homelands of various Native nations. The ceremony included traditional music performed by Chief Wade and Erica Ramsey. Dr. Joy Patterson and Dr. Green welcomed attendees and thanked them for the support they showed.
I promise that GovState, we will continue to learn from, honor, and amplify Indigenous voices and experiences. Thank you all for coming and for being a part of this historic ceremony at GovState University. Thank you.
Following the welcome ceremony, people were able to gather and read about the land acknowledgement and inform themselves on what they came out to support. The celebration continued into Ingerson Hall, where guests indulged in a variety of traditional Native American cuisine. They could craft their own God's Eye of yarn and witness a painting live from artist Michael Brown.
So I helped organize the event. So Dr. Patterson knew that I had Indigenous background. She tapped me to help do the research about the Indigenous tribes that were in the area, and they used that information to help write the land acknowledgement ceremony. So when we sat down to start planning everything, she brought me into that committee. So I helped kind of put the event together today.
Michelle Scott took to the stage to introduce herself and her tribal home. She presented her tribal blanket of the Mashantucket Pequot Nation and covered GSU's president, Dr. Cheryl Green, and Chief Diversity Officer, Dr. Joy Patterson, with the blanket, symbolizing a gift from her tribe.
Refreshing and hopeful that an institution is acknowledging the efforts of Native people and to kind of indigenize their efforts and where they stand on Native land. To thank and acknowledge GOVSTATE University for doing the work and taking the time to do the research and to invite Native people here from all over. And then just hopeful that this isn't just one-time thing and that we're going to grow from this.
Students and faculty was able to learn about Indigenous people, their customs, and their history told from their side. This has been Jada Thompson with GSUTV. Students, faculty, family, and friends gathered together in the Hall of Governors to watch the Dancing with the Stars fundraising event presented by the GSU Dance Company.
Coming out for two reasons. Of course, in support of the people that I know that are in the show, but also since I am a student and an employee here, just to make sure that I support the events that go on at GSU. You know what? Seeing the staff dance. I expect to see the students get down and do their thing, but I would love to see the staff and see what they bring to it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hosts Jasmine Butler and Dakota Keel introduced the contestants and kept the show lively and entertaining between acts. The teams were comprised of one faculty member and a student to become Dancing with the Stars. The teams were Marquise and Jacqueline with a jazz number, a showgirl take from Divine and Valerie, a smoking hot performance from Dave and Quenna, a contemporary piece by Grace and Ray, and a high-strung, energetic jive set from Nicole and Autumn. They were judged by a panel of experienced dancers and a theater studies professor. The contestants had hard-hitting and intriguing performances, and each time they were rated on a scale of 1 through 10. This compiled together as their base score, but it was ultimately up to the crowd to vote the top 3 performances. Spectators cast their vote at the voting table by placing their ticket in the box for their intended pairing.
This is my second year. I'm a sophomore at GSU. This is my second year with my partner. We just keep getting better and better. I think it went really good. We won first place, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
In second place, we have Nicole and Autumn! think it went amazing. Me and my partner only had 2 practices, so she really pulled through for me at the last minute, but I think for the time that we had, we did amazing. Definitely, first place is mine next year, yes.
We have J.B. Quinter, y'all!
The GSU Dance Company intends on continuing this fundraising event for future years to come. From GSUTV, this has been Jada Thompson.
On November 5th, Americans cast their votes for the next president of the United States, re-electing Donald Trump as the 47th president. Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee and Trump's main opponent, conceded the following day. Trump managed to win both the popular vote and the Electoral College this year, as opposed to elections past. Winning key states such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan no doubt helped pave the path to his victory. Trump earned over 76 million votes with almost 99% of the votes counted at time of reporting. However, he did not manage to grow his base that much in the 4 years since his last presidency. He won 74 million votes in 2020, little more than a 2 million vote difference. Compare that to the Democrats, who lost 7 million votes since 2020. Harris earned almost 74 million votes at the time of reporting, but when compared to the 81 million votes Joe Biden won in 2020, it shows a sizable difference. While the Democratic Party will spend the weeks following the campaign looking for a scapegoat for their loss, the insistence on pivoting to the right policy-wise and shutting out the undecided voices during the campaign are likely part of the reason why Trump won, as the data suggests that registered Democrats simply did not turn out to vote like they have in recent elections. In a first for the nation, Trump will be the first felon elected president. Trump was convicted of 36 felony charges back in May regarding payments he made to a former porn star to remain quiet during the 2016 election, the first presidential election Trump ran in. The fact that a felon is able to hold the highest office in a country where over 4 million people are denied voting rights due to their felon status, as well as the millions who are denied other rights because of similar convictions, is ironic if nothing else. It is still unclear at the moment whether or not sentencing for the charges will occur or not, but officials in New York are open to the idea of delaying the sentencing until after Trump's second term. For GSU-TV, this is Graham Taylor. Since his re-election earlier in the month, Donald Trump has begun assembling and announcing cabinet members for his upcoming second term. Many of the announced nominations, though, have been met with criticisms from both Democrats and Republicans. Matt Gaetz was initially picked to be Attorney General, and was a pick that Trump was willing to fight for, as Republicans made it clear that they would not accept the nomination. This is likely due to the hefty sexual assault and statutory rape allegations Gaetz is currently facing. Gaetz himself rejected the nomination in the weeks following the announcement. Pete Hegseth, a Fox News anchor with limited history in the military, has been selected to act as the Secretary of Defense. Some of his accolades include fighting for the pardon of U.S. war criminals and being removed from Biden's security detail during his inauguration in 2021 while serving in the National Guard. The reason for his removal is that Hegseth possesses tattoos of symbols and phrases often used by white nationalists. Like some of the other appointees, Hegseth also has a sexual assault allegation levied against him. A police report on the incident alleges that Hegseth drugged and assaulted a woman at a gathering of Republican women in California that he was speaking at in 2017, with hotel staff and other witnesses corroborating the woman's claim, according to the report. Trump has selected Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a known anti-vaxxer and COVID skeptic, to be his Secretary of Health and Human Services. This pick is particularly concerning, especially as we've seen numerous food-related recalls and viral outbreaks that are a direct result of Trump's deregulation of food safety departments during his first term, which will continue in his second term if his administration gets their way. In the week before Thanksgiving, Trump announced that billionaire and hedge fund manager Scott Bessent has been selected to be the next Treasury Secretary. Self-proclaimed Christian nationalist and Project 2025 sponsor Russell Vought was also selected at the same time to lead the Office of Management and Budget, a role he will be reprising from Trump's first term. While many were bracing for worst-case scenarios in terms of Trump's upcoming cabinet, the appointment made so far still comes as a shock to many. As the cabinet continues to fill out, many blue states and cities are preparing for the sweeping changes threatened by the incoming administration. For GSU-TV, this is Graham Taylor. On November 12th, President-elect Donald Trump announced that he would be creating a new department during his second term, the Department of Government Efficiency. Despite the announcement, many details of how this department would operate have yet to be released, if those details exist at all yet. The department is set to be led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, two wealthy businessmen who have never held any political office, but whose businesses do already have government contracts, which raises questions about potential conflicts of interest. Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, would potentially have to divest from those companies should he become a federal employee. Since the announcement, both men have made ridiculous claims about the kind of power and oversight the new department could have, with Ramaswamy under the impression that the president would have the power to fire over 75% of government employees, and Musk saying he would be able to find $2 trillion worth of federal budget cuts to make. To put that into perspective, the United States spent $6.8 trillion in the 2024 fiscal year, so Musk claiming to be able to cut almost a third of federal spending is simply not based in reality. Even with all these outlandish claims, it is still unclear what exactly the department would do and how it would operate. If it acts as an advisory department, or is otherwise not created as a government entity, that would severely limit the department's power. However, if it were to be part of the US government, that would require the cooperation of other governing bodies and also lead to potential conflicts of interest. On top of that, there is already an existing government body that oversees the efficiency of other government agencies. The United States Government Accountability Office has the power to audit other U.S. agencies at the discretion of Congress to make sure that funding is being spent effectively. The GAO is also tasked with advising Congress and other executive agencies on ways to more efficiently use government resources. The idea of a Department of Government Efficiency is, ironically, redundant at best or grossly inefficient at worst. Until the department is fully formed and operating, we'll have to wait and see the extent of its power. For GSUTV, this is Graham Taylor. On November 13th, President-elect Donald Trump announced Matt Gaetz is his pick for Attorney General. The following week, on November 21st, Gaetz withdrew his consideration for the cabinet position, which he announced via a post on X, formerly Twitter. He has been under investigation since 2020 after accusations of sex trafficking, having sexual relationships with minors, and other crimes came to light. Gaetz served in the U.S. House of Representatives from 2017 through 2024, previously serving in Florida's House of Representatives. It was while he was serving as a representative in the U.S. House that allegations of drug use, bribery, and sexual misconduct began to surface. In response to these accusations, the House Ethics Committee began a years-long investigation into these claims, but have yet to publicly release a report on Gaetz. Markwayne Mullin, a Republican senator and former member of the House of Representatives, claims that Gaetz would brag about his sexual misconduct, oftentimes showing videos of such incidents to other House members. Following Trump's announcement that he chose Gaetz to be his Attorney General, Gaetz resigned from the House of Representatives on the same day. As he was no longer a member of the House of Representatives, the House Ethics Committee would have little jurisdiction over Gaetz. However, Democrats in the House have pushed for the release of the committee's report anyways, given the seriousness of the accusations. Despite resigning and withdrawing his nomination, Gaetz is denied all wrongdoing. The House Ethics Committee will meet on December 5th, and it will likely be decided then whether or not the report will be publicly released. Following Gaetz' withdrawal, Trump nominated Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi for U.S. Attorney General. For GSU-TV, this is Graham Taylor. Boeing mechanics have ratified a work contract on November 4th following an almost 2-month-long strike. In that time, Boeing factories on the United States West Coast have been shut down. The strike began on September 13th when over 30,000 mechanics from the company voted to strike after rejecting a 4-year contract that would only increase wages 25% over the course of that period. The International Association of Mechanists and Aerospace Workers, the union representing the mechanics, wanted a 40% wage increase over 4 years, as well as the reinstatement of pension benefits that were halted over a decade ago in 2014. The union voted against Boeing's first 2 contracts, the second of which would only see a 35% increase to members' wages. The final contract that was accepted guarantees a 38% increase over 4 years, but the original pension plan remains frozen for the time being. While the contract was ratified with a 59% majority vote, many of the members feel they could have held out for more.
I voted no. Why is that? So, As a 19-year-old who lives with their parents still and gets free college, this contract is great for me. I am happy with it. However, I voted for my colleagues who need to support their families. It's just not enough improvements generally, especially with the wage increase. It's only 13% the first year, which does not catch up with how expensive everything here is.
The shutdown caused by the strike is estimated to have lost Boeing almost $6 billion this year. Despite the mechanics agreeing to return to work, it will still take weeks before the factories are completely operational again. This strike also follows a particularly rocky year for Boeing, which has seen multiple incidents involving Boeing aircrafts, lawsuits and investigations regarding the manufacturing and safety of Boeing vehicles, and the resignation of Boeing's CEO at the end of this year. On November 14th, Boeing announced that it would be laying off 10% of its workforce, leading to 17,000 workers being let go from their job, including some of the mechanics who just resumed work. It still remains to be seen how this will affect the company overall, and if it will impact the quality and safety of Boeing vehicles even further. For GSUTV, this is Graham Taylor. The once popular social media platform known formerly as Twitter has been in a downward spiral ever since being purchased by Elon Musk and renamed to X. Fledgling social media app Blue Sky appears to be the frontrunner in a race to replace the former social media giant, and with multiple millions of new users signing up in this month alone, the new network is riding a wave of popularity. Following the purchase of Twitter back in 2022, Musk has spent the past 2 years making widespread changes to the site, changing how their verification process works, rolling back on moderation, and kneecapping the block feature and other privacy settings, while also introducing a slew of unpopular AI tools. Responses to these numerous changes have been mixed at best and vocally hated at worst, with X's dwindling user base reflecting these changes, as well as advertisers leaving the site in droves over the same period. What was once a thriving and popular, if a bit inflammatory, social space has since been overrun with bots, trolls, right-wing propaganda, and outright bigotry. Those who didn't want to spend their time online being perpetually yelled at by screen-addicted weirdos started to look for greener pastures, or in this case, bluer skies. Blue Sky was started back in 2019 and was initially a part of Twitter. After Twitter's purchase by Musk, Blue Sky cut all ties and became independent. Jack Dorsey, the co-founder and former CEO of Twitter, was heavily involved with Blue Sky during its incept and launch, but left the platform in May of 2014 after his vision for the site and the user's vision didn't align. Since the end of the 2024 US elections, Blue Sky once again saw a massive influx of new members, many leaving behind X for good after it was announced that Musk would be helping Trump's administration. Since its purchase by Musk in 2022, X has seen a 15% decrease in usage globally. While Blue Sky is currently experiencing a golden age, it remains to be seen if this new social hub will continue to thrive. But for those curious to try the new platform, registration is now open, and anyone is free to join. For GSU-TV, this is Graham Taylor. The International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on November 21st. The former defense minister, Yoav Gallant, was also indicted on charges of crimes against humanity along with Netanyahu. The war crimes the two are being charged with include intentionally targeting hospitals and medical buildings and using starvation as a warfare tactic, among others. Denying food and aid from entering the Gaza Strip, while also continually striking the Strip with artillery and other weapons for the past year, were just some of the actions the court said demonstrated genocidal intent. Now that warrants have been issued, nations that belong to the ICC have obligations to arrest Netanyahu and Gallant. While many European countries were quick to state their intent on fulfilling those obligations to arrest the pair, some came to their defense, despite the two being wanted suspects. The Hungarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, instead invited Netanyahu to his country. French officials, while initially supporting the indictments, later claimed that the ICC had no jurisdiction over Netanyahu, as Israel is not a member of the ICC. However, the statute that established the court, the Roman Statute, refutes this claim. Should Netanyahu and Gallant be arrested, a trial would be held to determine whether or not these charges are true. However, Legal proceedings cannot begin unless the two are detained, as the ICC has no power to hold a trial without them. Hamas leader Mohammed Deif was also issued an arrest warrant. Israel claims that Deif was killed in the summer, but it remains unknown at this time if that is true. Since the October 7th attack last year, over 40,000 Palestinians have been killed. For GSUTV, this is Graham Taylor.
Good evening, I'm Mallory Bravo, and the holiday spirit is in full swing here at the Rosemonts Parkway Bank Park, where families have gathered for a festive day of fun. Families are soaking up the holiday magic here. Children are lighting up with excitement as they meet Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And just a short stroll away, visitors are also enjoying free horse sleigh rides through the park. Meanwhile, the joyful sounds of carolers spreading cheer with classic holiday tunes and inviting everyone to sing along. And the magic doesn't stop there. In just a little while, all eyes will turn to the main event, the lighting of the park. Mayor Brad Stevens is set to officially illuminate the area with a dazzling display of over 80,000 sparkling holiday lights. The breathtaking scene promises to transform the park into winter wonderland, perfect for photos, creating memories, and getting everyone into the holiday spirit. It's a moment that families, couples, and friends won't want to miss out on. The holiday season is officially here at Rosemonts Parkway Bank Park, so come on down and enjoy a festive day of fun. Reporting from GSU News, I'm Mallory Bravo.
Good evening, I'm Noel Tremule reporting from a very snowy Fulton Market District, where last Christmas they gave Chicago a holiday pop-up experience, and the very next year, they're doing it again. It's that time of year again, where Fulton Market brings back their beloved Jack Frost holiday pop-up for locals and anyone who wants something to do over the holidays. Located just 3 minutes away from the district at the corner of North Green Street and West Lake Street, this pop-up is for all ages and includes ice skating, axe throwing, bumper cars, holiday bars and shops, and much more. Visitors of the pop-up can buy individual tickets or host a party during select time slots available, with tickets starting as low as $18 and getting as high as $157. The more expensive tickets comes with additional perks on purchase, like instant access to skate rentals, a complimentary alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage, accessories, and even an ugly sweater. The Jack Frost Holiday Pop-Up will be open to the public from November 29th to January 5th. So make sure you bring warm clothes, your friends and family, but most importantly, your Christmas spirit. This is Noel from GSU News. Back to you.
Last night, Red One, also known as St. Nicholas of Myra, was abducted.
Are you saying Santa Claus has been kidnapped?
Welcome to Hollywood Buzz, your source for the latest in the entertainment industry. I'm your host, Graham Taylor, and today we'll be looking at upcoming releases, celebrity news, and the latest from Hollywood. Let's get started. Wicked, the silver screen adaptation of the Broadway blockbuster, defied gravity and took the top spot at the box office at the end of November, dethroning the Dwayne Johnson-led holiday action flick Red One. Moana 2 and Gladiator 2 also released at the end of the month to positive reviews and sizable weekend grosses, claiming the second and third box office spots. The 98th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was hosted on a rainy New York City Thanksgiving morning. Despite the weather, thousands still lined the streets in order to catch a glimpse of the many floats and star-studded performances that made up the parade. Some of the more popular floats from this year include Snoopy, Goku, and New York native Spider-Man. Idina Menzel, who debuted the role of Elphaba, aka the Wicked Witch of the West, in the Broadway version of Wicked, also gave a stunning performance to promote her new musical, Redwood. The satirical news network The Onion purchased Alex Jones's InfoWars earlier this month. Jones, a far-right conspiracy theorist and former host of the InfoWars show, lost control of the company during a bankruptcy auction following his defamation lawsuit. Jones was sued by family members of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victims, a tragic event that Jones claimed was a staged hoax. The Onion is intending to turn the right-wing conspiracy site into a satirical one, making fun of the outlandish and dangerous claims the organization was known for.
We're going to take the universe that Alex created and just pave it over. We're going to create a new world where hopefully in a couple of years, if you think of InfoWars, you'll either think of this day where we pulled off this very ridiculous joke where we're able to purchase InfoWars as is, or you'll think of this new site. And we're going to go after all the conditions that Alex Jones creates to sell his supplements and do all of those things. I think, Jake, we're all on social media. We're all on TikTok and Instagram, and there are a million little Alex Joneses out there, each selling their own supplement or making you drink raw milk or something. They're trying to get you afraid of something, and they're trying to sell you the solution. And our new website is going to tackle exactly that. And once we get it in our control, which is hopefully very soon, you guys can see what we have cooked up.
Former My Chemical Romance drummer Bob Breyer was found dead in his home earlier this month at age 44. Breyer was with the band from 2004 through 2010. He was their longest tenured drummer and contributed to many of the band's most popular albums, including The Black Parade. Rap superstar Drake is suing Universal Media Group in regards to the Kendrick Lamar song Not Like Us. The first of the two suits claims that the label inflated the streaming numbers of the single, a diss track aimed at Drake, which was a chart-topping hit over the summer. The second suit claims that the song contained false allegations of sexual misconduct against Drake as well. The lawsuit was announced in the same week that Lamar released his newest album, GNX, his first album release since his feud with Drake ended.
You have something in you. Rage. Never let it go. It will carry you to greatness.
For GSUTV, this has been Graham Taylor with the latest Hollywood Buzz.